At cruising height, the sky looks calm. The cabin hums. A child presses a hand to the window. Then the pilot hears a hiss. A new tone. Not normal. On the radar, a tiny blip appears. Too fast. Wrong angle. A bright streak crosses the blue. Metal burns. It falls. It does not care who is in the way. Most of it dies in the air. But not all. One piece is dense. One piece is hot. One piece keeps going. The pilot blinks. The streak bends toward the wing. The sky is wide. The odds are small. But the number of things falling is growing. How long until one meets a plane? He looks up and sees a clean sky. He thinks the air is empty. It is not. It is full of old promises and dead machines. Tiny screws. Shards of paint. A broken panel from a satellite that failed. A tank from a rocket that did its job and then forgot to leave quietly. Pieces drift for years. Some fall today. A farmer finds a curved shell in a field. It is black and charred. It smells like metal and burned air. It has numbers stamped into the edge. Not a plane. Not a car. He runs a hand along the rim and leaves soot on his skin. He looks up. The sky gives no answers. The wind moves the grass and nothing else. But something big has passed through. A beach walker sees a long cylinder lodged in sand. He thinks it is a pipe. It is not. It is a pressure tank from space. It came down in the night. Waves cooled it. Seabirds stand near it, unsure. Tourists take photos. A lifeguard tapes off the area. The tank looks calm now. But it fell fast. Very fast. Above the clouds, planes draw thin lines. They move in lanes. They keep time. They trust the air. They trust the rules. Pilots speak. Towers answer. as the border thins more. He thinks of luck. Luck is strong. It protects people more often than they know. A fragment hits water instead of a wing. A spark burns out a mile above. A piece breaks 1 second earlier and falls 10 miles away. Luck has been good so far. But luck does not plan. It does not track. It does not reduce the count. The count grows. Each near miss, if it was one, was a message. Soft. Easy to ignore. It says, look up. Somewhere, far from cities, a radar station watches the upper air. The screen shows a faint, fast echo. It comes and goes in one sweep. The tech writes a note and saves the frame. The file sits in a folder with a date and a time and a few words. Transient. High speed. No follow. He wonders later. He never knows. What happens when one story is not a story? A falling thing begins as heat. Air wraps it. Pressure climbs. The surface character's edges curl. It tumbles. It slows. The sky squeezes it like a fist. If it is light, it dies. If it is hollow, it crushes and flares and scatters. But if it is dense and small, it keeps a core. That core comes down hard. At very high altitudes, speed is huge. Far below, speed is less. Drag bites deep. Some fragments become subsonic. Some stay fast longer. It depends on shape. It depends on mass. It depends on the road of the air that day. Wind shears push. Jet streams twist. A piece can drift sideways many miles as it falls. He draws a slice of sky. Up high, fire. Middle, glide of a brick. Lower, drop of a stone. The band where planes live is in the middle. It is where a piece is no longer a streak of plasma. It is where you can see the metal, not the flame. It is where the last part of the journey happens. It is where people are. Imagine a cylinder the size of a bottle. Titanium. Blackened. It has fallen through night. It spins. It cools on the skin but inside is hot. It passes 40,000 feet. Thin cloud tears on its nose. It drops into clean blue. Below, a flight moves west. Time is everything now. 1 second early, the piece is above the tail and misses. 1 second late, it hits empty air and keeps falling. Right on time, and it meets aluminum. Aircraft are strong. They take bird strikes. They take hail. They are tested. But design tests are based on known threats. A bird has feathers and bones. Hail is ice. A titanium slug is a different visitor. It has no give. It has no soft. It punches where it can. Leading edges. Radomes. Windows with layers. Engines that inhale and grind. Not every hit is fatal. Many would be not hits at all. The sky is wide. But the thought is simple and cold. The path of one falling object can cross the path of one moving plane. The cross can happen in 3 dimensions. It can happen with no warning. He looks at a clock, then at a map. He feels how thin timing is. A plane at 500 knots. A fragment falling through at hundreds of miles per hour. The meeting point is small, but not zero. And the number of falling tries keeps going up. What if timing is exact once? The cockpit is calm. Then a sound like a hammer on a shield. Not loud for long. Just one hit. The nose dips a hair. The captain's hand is already there. He feels the stick. He breathes. He speaks. The voice is steady. We have a strike. Assessing. A crack splinters a cover panel on the radome. The weather radar blinks but stays alive. Or the hit is on the wing's leading edge. A small dent. The wing is strong. It keeps lift. Or, worst, the piece gets pulled into an engine. Fans at the front scream. The engine shakes and then settles into a rough windmill. The crew kills fuel to that side. They train for this. One engine can fly the plane. The ship turns toward a runway. Oxygen masks are ready if a window goes. Windows are layered, thick, heated. They are not easy to break. But a hit at the wrong spot could star a pane. The crew descends. They level at a lower, safer height. The cabin is quiet. Passengers trust the calm voice. They see clouds rise as the plane drops. The earth grows details. Squares, roads, rivers. The engine on one side is silent now. The other sings louder. Fire trucks roll. Foam rigs wait. Controllers clear the air. The runway is a black ribbon. The plane lines up. It touches. Tires chirp. The ground feels heavy and safe. Maintenance walks the skin. They find a dent the size of a bowl, or a hole like a coin taken out. The metal around it is scorched. They touch it and pull a hand back. It is still warm. They bag the piece if they can find it inside a bay. They tag it. It looks like no bird. It looks like no bolt from the plane. It looks like something that does not belong to Earth in the way Earth knows. The report goes up the chain. Quiet. Careful. They will say, unknown object. They will test metal. They will check space logs for a re-entry. They will line up times. They will match vectors. If it matches, the case will be rare. It will be studied. It will be a lesson. If not, it will be a mystery that sits on a shelf. The crew goes home. They sleep and wake suddenly. They hear the strike again in their heads. The sound was short. The memory is long. What if next time the hit is in a worse place? He imagines a global net. Antennas. Telescopes. Radar beams crossing the dark. They track big things in space. They can see many objects. They put them in catalogs. They predict paths. They warn if a dead satellite will come down over a region at a certain time range. Airlines read notices. Some flights adjust. Space agencies release timelines. They say window opening and window closing. The footprint crosses oceans and land. It is wide. It moves with each orbit. If the object breaks apart, the footprint splits like a river into many thin arms. Now the band where planes fly is crossed by moving lines that no one can draw exactly in real time. Some nations plan splashdowns for big, known drops. Old space stations. Spent rockets. They aim for ocean deserts where no one goes. They time burns to place debris far from towns. That helps a lot. But the small, unplanned falls still come. A tiny panel that loosened. A bolt that broke. A tank that survived more heat than someone guessed. No one can plan those. Pilots train for birds. Engines can swallow ice. Crews can descend fast and breathe through masks. But what is the procedure for unknown object from above? It begins the same as any strike. Fly the plane. Communicate. Navigate. Land. The mystery part comes after. He thinks of future tools. Better tracking of smaller things. Faster alerts sent directly to cockpits. A map on a screen that shades a band in the sky for 5 minutes and then clears it. Maybe one day they can move a plane a few miles left or right when a decay crosses. Maybe they can't. The sky is big and airways are busy. Safety hates sudden change. If the trend holds, more launches mean more junk. New rules try to help. Bring dead satellites down faster. Build craft that burn cleaner. Keep parts tethered. Capture trash with nets or tugs. These are good steps. They lower risk later. But the pieces already up there still have to fall. He looks at a single plane icon on a live map in his mind. It slides over blue water. Far above, a label no one can read moves on a different track. The two will never meet. Not today. Not tonight. But on some day, in some sky, two tracks might cross for a breath. Who will see it first? He counts. More satellites. More launches. More pieces. Even with better rules, the total rises before it falls. That is how cleanups work. The mess grows first. Then it shrinks. The question is the gap. How long is it? How many chances live in that gap? Risk is not a story you can hold. It is a number that changes with each day. It is low, but moving. Pilots do not fear it. They carry risk as part of the job. They buckle in and run checklists. They know engines can fail. They know weather can turn. They know birds do not read charts. Now they add a new line to the quiet part of the mind. Sometimes, a thing falls from above. He stands by a runway fence at dusk. A plane lifts and climbs into gold light. The sound is clean. It fades. The sky turns purple. Somewhere, a piece of metal begins to glow. It is not aimed at anyone. It is just obeying physics. It drops into blue, then into white, then into clear. The air shapes it, slows it, twists it. It will land far away in some empty place. A desert, an ocean, a field. No one will be there. That will happen almost every time. Almost is not always. He knows that. The viewers know that. The mystery is not a monster. It is a clock with no numbers. It ticks. It does not say when. It just says, someday. People do not like someday. They want never, or at 3:14 p.m. The sky gives neither. He takes a breath. He says the truth in simple words. The chance of a hit on a plane is still very small. But there are more objects now. The risk is rising. Not fast, but up. The world is working on it. The watchers are watching. The rules are getting better. The sky is learning to clean itself. He leaves the fence. A child points up at a bright that drifts. A parent says, a satellite. The child asks, can it fall? The parent says, one day, parts do. The child asks, will it hit us? The parent says, almost never. The child nods. The plane's lights wink as it turns. How long until almost never becomes today for someone, somewhere?